What's up, guys? It's me, FritzRolle732, and how do you guys do? Pretty good? Okay. So for this episode, tonight's episode is going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy double feature movie review episode. And the reason why it's going to be a double feature instead of just a movie review on the second one is because fun fact, the day that I first saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was the same day that I first saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. And so, I know that wasn't a title, but who cares? Anyway, and I know what you guys are gonna ask. Why the hell did you not see Guardians of the Galaxy 1? That movie's like one of the best Marvel movies around. I mean, it even has the best movie soundtracks of all time. Seriously, where have you been? I just didn't feel interested. And hey, I was pumped up for DC. DC all the way. I'm just kidding. I like them both. I like them both equally. However, actually, I do like DC a bit better. Just not the movies. Marvel is better in movies. However, in comics and video games, DC all the way. I don't know. Anyway, so moving forward, so enough yappering, enough chattering, enough. What am I saying? Let's get rocking and reviewing, shall we? Okay. So for Guardians of the Galaxy 1, there's really not that much to talk about. However, I will say visually it was amazing. The cast was amazing. And especially everybody, especially Drax. And that's the thing I always got to watch out for because I happen to be a WWE fan. And so, all wrestlers who are terrible actors, except for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Am I right, you guys? He's the best. He's the best wrestling actor around by far. I mean, what can I say? He won a People's Choice Award for what was that movie? Central Intelligence. Duh. Anyway, sorry for being too enthusiastic. Oh gosh, I need some water. I know, why are you rushing? Because of the 15-minute limit. Okay, let's continue forward. So, for Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I had to say, this movie was really interesting. I mean, however, there were a couple cheesy parts. Like, for one, in the start of the beginning, like, I wouldn't say cheesy, I mean predictable. Like, I knew that, the person who played young Peter Quill, like, I knew that he wasn't gonna reach for his mother's hand before she died. Like, in the hospital bed, you see the scene where, spoiler alerts, by the way, in the hospital bed, he sees his mother who's suffering through cancer, and she was just on the verge of dying, and she asks him for reaching his hand, and in the end he doesn't reach it and runs out. He runs away, and I'm like, well, I knew that was gonna happen. I mean, that happens throughout the beginning of the story, or that happens in pretty much everything where you're just one step close, like you really regret it. Well, why didn't you do it? But oh well. And also, I will say, Chris Pratt was amazing in this movie. And I heard from another movie reviewer by the name of Paleoceno, and in his opinion, he said that that Chris Pratt's performance was in his own opinion, that he was better in the first movie than he was in the second movie. However, I mean, to be honest, I think he did good both and equally. I think he did equally as good in both movies. I mean, I couldn't tell which was better. But I don't know. And I have to say, Drax's performance in the first movie, I will say, he kind of acted like Buzz Lightyear. Like, the type of Buzz Lightyear, what type of Buzz Lightyear I'm talking about, you guys? Like, he acted like the type of Buzz Lightyear who didn't know that he was a toy. Instead, he just acted like a space ranger. That's who I thought Drax kind of acted like throughout the movie as well. And I also did like, all the action and stuff, like, and especially Yondu. Like, Yondu was a badass in, like, the first one. Like, all he just needed was just one whistle, and then he would just instantly kill somebody with his arrow. And I'm like, wow, that is just awesome. And there was also that dramatic scene where the Guardians of the Galaxy were just on the verge of death. Like, in the end of the movie, like, they were on the verge of death, but then Groot risked his life to save them. And I just had to say that was like a bit feelsy and dramatic and stuff. And I'm like, wow. And soon enough, in the next movie, he was Baby Groot, and a lot funnier and stuff, and dancing around, especially in the end of the first one. I thought that was funny as well. And also, however, I will say, speaking of the end, it just reminded me of something. In the end, there was also that scene where Chris Pratt was just doing, where Star Lord, my bad, was doing, was doing the diversion against the villain. I forgot was a name. I forgot his name. I forgot the main antagonist's name. Oh well, I forget. But I will say, I mean, where he made that diversion, I was kind of cringing a bit. I was like, oh gosh. I knew it was going to be a diversion, but this looks totally cringeworthy and stuff. I mean, what can I say? Um, but yeah, and sorry, I gotta think on something for a second. Lost my train of thought. Um, and yeah, and so, but in the end, they did it. Now we're called the Guardians of the Galaxy, and all ends well. They were like one big happy, family or some sort. Oh well, I'm sorry, you guys. Was really rarely anything to talk about because during the movie I was like zoned out, and like I was rarely reacting except maybe give a chuckle or two by the comedic parts, and maybe a couple woes, but silent woes like whoa, and so like whoa, that is so awesome, like. I'm sorry. It's probably because my expectations were high. Because again, going back to Paleo Stone's review, he did say the first movie was better than the second one, in his own opinion, which I respect. I respect the movie reviewer's opinion. We all have different opinions. I mean, that's what makes us human. We're all different. We're never exactly the same. Heck, even twins. I know twins are also different. I bet the twins from The Shining are also different. I mean, don't lie to me, you guys. They're different as well. Now I'm just going off topic. Anyway, so yeah, I just had high expectations, so that's why I really rarely have anything to talk much. But let's move on forward to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, shall we? Okay, so this one talks about how Star Lord there's like a new villain. In fact, actually, the villain is actually yeah, before it was Star Lord's father. The main antagonist was actually the people. Yeah, the royalty people, the golden skin people that the Guardians just helped out. And the reason why they're after them was because unfortunately Rocket stole some batteries, even though he says it's mostly Drax. But everybody knows that's a lie. And I really need some water. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Anyway, so I have to say, I gotta. This movie was so much fun to watch. So much action, so much comedy. Like seriously, the comedy and the action was a perfect blend. I mean, it reminded me of Deadpool. That's how good it was. I mean, it kind of was like Deadpool, except rating, rated PG-13 versus rated R and all that jazz. But overall, I mean, it was really such a good movie. I mean, what can I say? I mean, the comedy and the action was mixed well done. And I have to say, this movie was, in my opinion, this movie was better than the first one. The second one was better than the first one, you guys. And this one, I have so much to say. However, the difference between Drax's performance, Dave Bautista's as Drax in the first one versus the second one was in the second one I think he did pretty much worse. The first one he sounded like a character that was intelligent but then didn't get practicality, but then in the second one he improved practicality, but he was just laughing all the time. Like most of the movie he was just straight up laughing. Like seriously. So yeah, I mean, he was just laughing most of the time throughout the movie. Especially, however, even though it was funny, I mean, there was a couple parts where his laughing was actually pretty funny. Especially that part where Star Lord's secret is out. I was literally laughing. But oh well. And also I do appraise Kurt Russell's performance as Star Lord's father. I mean, but however, I have to say, oh my gosh, that twist. Oh my goodness, that twist was so unexpected. However, I mean, throughout the movie, you are gonna expect a twist. But I have to say, you're not gonna. I mean, I will say this, you guys. If you do get the chance to watch the movie, you're gonna, and throughout the movie, you will be able to predict or expect a twist, when you watch the movie, but you won't be able to understand what the twist is. That's the way to put it. Yeah, that's how you put it. Yeah, and basically, and spoiler alerts, again, is that the twist was that Kurt Russell's character, what Star Lord's father, Ego, that's his name. Sorry, almost forgot, but it was Ego. His character actually is like, in the end, he actually wants Star Lord and him to actually like take over the entire universe and actually cause distraction and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh! And we actually get the chance to learn that, heck with Star Lord becoming half a terrain, it turns out that he's also part immortal, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's like awesome. However, you may not die of sickness, but soon enough you may die from injury, of course. Consider that. And what can I say? And I do like the new characters, Mantis, and also I gotta say, after watching this movie, I have to say Yondu has got to be my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy character, even though he's dead now after the movie. But what can I say? I mean, at first I didn't think he was gonna make it, but then when I saw him save Star Lord, I was like, oh my gosh, he might make it. But then when they were up in space, I was like, and he died. I was like, darn it. And to be honest, I was really paying attention to that. I was like, wait, was the timing perfect? Was the timing between of him dying and the other Guardians trying to rescue him, was that perfect? And it turns out, yes, it was well timed. He would have died. They wouldn't have had enough time to save him. So yeah, and I had to keep tabs on that. And so yeah, overall, it was such a great movie. And Mantis, I mean, she was just a bit awkward. I mean, what can I say? But it's just that she's just confused. And, I understand. And, and the screen time for Rocket was really good. I mean, yeah. And also, Rocket and Yondu, they were great as a duo. They were amazing. And I also noticed that in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, there's also the slow motions. And I gotta say, even though it is repetitive, it will never be an even though it is repetitive, it won't be, annoying. It won't be, it will still look badass and totally cool. Yeah. Anyway, as for ratings, and I'm approaching the 15-minute mark soon. Ratings, I give the first movie between an 8.5 to a 9, but if I will give it I would give it I would probably, on IMDb, I would probably rate it maybe an 8 or maybe a 9. I don't know. As for the second one, I would give it a solid 9. As for the second one, I would give it between a 9 to a 9.5 if I didn't rank it on IMDb. So probably like a 9.25 on the second one and an 8.75 on the first one. I mean, they were both great movies. They were overall great movies. That's all I can say. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this double feature, special edition episode, Guardians of the Galaxy double feature. And as for today's hat of the day or hat of the episodes, after watching the whole season 5 of Samurai Jack, you know what it is. Tara Strong autograph signed hat that I got from BronyCon. Not the hat, the signature, of course. So yeah, because what can I say? And in fact, I'm actually planning to do an episode based off of that. And as for any other projects, MLP Grimdark still going for the month of Macabre. That's still initially planned as well. So cannot wait for that. And as for MLP reviews, maybe I might do season 7 after the the first half of the season 7 of MLP is over. I might do a review on that. Anyway, with that being said, as I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys later. As Jeff Hardy says, I'll see you guys later in the future. See ya.